This is a news story which is breaking in, you could say, Western media, but definitely not in Chinese media. Chinese media is owned by the state. It's state-owned, it's governed. Anything which comes out on the television or newspapers and magazines has to be approved by the government. So anything negative is not going to be shown. So you can see sometimes we only get the positive news out of China. We would never hardly get ever the negative. There's this gentleman here, and he is called Cha Song. And I don't know when this actually happened, but he put this sign projected onto a building in China. And now I don't know which city it is, but it's sort of something which is definitely strange and something that would happen in once in a while. You can see the image here, and the basic translation is "Down with the Communist Party, down with Xi Jinping." You can see the guy here again, and we can see the sign there as well. Now, many thanks to China Observer for breaking this story, and let's see how it's going to continue. Now, I don't know the whole story, but the basics of it is that this guy was tired of Xi Jinping, he was tired of the Chinese government, he was tired of his life in China, and basically he ran away from China. Don't know how he did that, but he did. And with that, he left this message there. This has happened actually before, and you can see it's happened a couple of times in recent years. One was on a bridge, I think it was in Beijing, but don't quote me on this. And this sign actually says, "We want food, not PCR tests. We want freedom, not lockdowns. We want respect, not lies. We want reform, not a cultural revolution. We want to vote, not a leader. We want to be citizens, not slaves." And you could say all this has really stemmed at the dictator, the leader of China at the moment, Xi Jinping. He's really going back in time. And you could say people's lives in China, you just accept. You just don't complain about the government. And it's sort of actually illegal to sort of, note the word sort of, too. You just don't talk about it. It's the same in many other countries in the world. As I explained before, in Thailand, you won't talk about the royal family. It's actually illegal, and people don't. Now, they may talk about them behind closed doors, and that's near enough the only freedom of speech you're going to get. But in public, it's not like in America. If you don't like Joe Biden, you can protest. And saying "Down with Joe Biden," you can go to the White House and put signs up. The police are not going to stop you as long as it's peaceful. If you have an act of violence or act of something, then they are going to put you in the nick. Now, the reason why Chai Song did this was this. "My younger son was over a year old and consuming formula milk in China. Often had health issues, poor development, no teeth growth, and couldn't speak." So he wanted better milk formula. Now you can get better milk formula, you can get it imported. But let's say the Chinese one costs $1, but the Australian or New Zealand baby formula costs $5. Some people can't afford that luxury. And you may remember some unfortunate deaths of some children because of the Chinese milk formula. They did some shortcuts, and this was news when, about 10 years ago, something like that. He continues, "In China, our children can't get the proper physical and mental care, and their health wasn't guaranteed. We have many children, no business to run and no income, so we are forced to leave. We can't survive like this." But he wanted to leave, you could say, with this message. And I'm glad he actually did, and I hope that his family and his children can get better care wherever they may go. They may go to the country of Taiwan, they may be, I don't know, in Japan or England, whatever. But it's a sad case that you have to leave your country because of your child's ill health. And a lot of the time, you would see that these kind of news stories in China would be swept under the carpet. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be released. We all sort of know what needs to be done in China. And people would say this is interference with this. There was one guy on YouTube earlier today, and he was saying people can live on $140 per month, which is, what's that, about 500? Sorry, it's about 1,000 RMB, and it's just really difficult, etc. But he was making excuses. So when these guys come out once in a blue moon in China, it does reach international news, and this is why I'm covering it. It just needs for the people to be able to speak and what they want. Now, China has the biggest population of 1.4 billion people. It's going to take years for it to be a developed country. And there's only, you could actually say, quite a small percentage of the country which is. You could say like Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Guangzhou along the East Coast. But if you go further west, you get into rural China, and there are some developed cities like Chengdu in the west, or Chongqing in the southwest, or in central China, where you would have Wuhan, where it has sort of a development, but they get a higher salary, obviously, because they're more skilled. Maybe this is related to education, etc. That the education system has got better, granted, but it's not as good. And this is why many parents who can afford maybe 100,000 to send their kids to a school overseas, or maybe they do their masters for 1 year in England, America, Canada, Australia, which is actually quite common with that. But obviously they got to learn how to speak English. I digress with this one, and I wish actually more people would have the power somehow to say, we are not happy totally with the government, like you would do in America. Maybe nothing is done, but the thing is, your voice is actually heard. And this guy managed to do it with a little bit of technology, and I feel proud of him. And again, I think we all hope that he managed to settle down in life with his wife and also his kids, how many he's got. Again, I don't know the whole story of it, but when I saw this poster on or this projection on the wall of another building, and it was there for people to see, and at the same time he was sort of like leaving China. Well done. Yeah. We don't want people to leave just because of governments, but unfortunately they have to. You would get in Europe so many Irani, Syrian people who want to flee their country because it's unsafe, and they want to go to the relative safety of Europe, where you could say the governments will try to protect them more rather than a regime. And China does have a regime. Some Chinese people would say it's run by the 6 most richest families in the world, the leader being Xi Jingping. I can go on and on, but I'm going to leave it there for today because I just wanted for you to actually see this breaking story, and let's see how it continues. Maybe it fade away, maybe it'll be escalated by some of the Western media, whatever. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today because otherwise I'll start repeating myself. Thumbs up, share, subscribe, and don't forget to support this channel with the links in the description below. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.